Stick around because we're going to be turning some springtime scrappy fabric into a really cute little egg pouch. Hi everybody, it's Claudia from Create with Claudia. We're doing a Working Our Scraps Off episode today. I can't remember what number it is. I didn't check before I did this. This was kind of a spur of the moment tutorial that I'm doing. We are making these really cute Easter egg pouches, or egg pouches. They don't have to be for Easter, but I wanted to do something springy. Easter is right around the corner. Here's another one. They are so easy to make, and they're nice and big, so you have lots of room for lots of treats to give somebody. We're going to get started on it. If you've never heard of my Working Our Scraps Off series, it's a YouTube series where I try to bring you a project. It used to be try to do it once a month. I got really far behind on that, so I do it when I can. But I like to bring together scrap fabric projects for you to work on. I do have a Facebook group called Working Our Scraps Off. Head over there. People post all kinds of fun scrappy projects that they're working on. I post my videos there when I get a new one done. And then I also post old ones so you can see what I've done in the past. I'm thinking now this is probably episode 19 of it. So yeah, we're getting up there on the episodes. So let's get started on this really cute and really fun Easter egg pouch. So here are the things you're going to need to make one of these egg pouches. You can see it finished again here. First, you're going to need the template, and you can get that on my website, www.createwithclaudia.com, or there'll be, even here on the description, there'll be a link to the PDF file. Very easy. If you don't want to do that, you can make your own template. This one measures about, let me measure it real quick. It's about 6 inches across by just over 7 inches long. So it's a nice big, it makes a nice big pouch, which is nice. So you're going to need a template of some sort of this egg shape. That's one thing. You're going to need a zipper. I do zipper by the yard. It's just easier for me. And this is, I make it longer than I'm going to need to because number one, it's really hard for me to get that zipper pull on. So I always make it like a couple inches longer just because it's such a pain to put those zippers on. So you need a zipper. You need 3 pieces of fusible fleece. I don't even know what brand this is anymore, but you need 3 pieces of fusible fleece, and they should measure, 2 of them should measure 7 by 8, and the other one a little bit larger, and I'll show you why in a second. This is the lining fabric. This is the first lining fabric, and you need 2 pieces that measure 7 by 8. This is going to be my outer front fabric. I just felt like doing this pink one today. So again, 2 pieces that measure 7 by 8. And then I think I'm going to do this pretty pink strawberry for the backing. And this is larger than 7 by 8. Didn't even measure that. Just make it larger. I make it very oversized because I like to have that wiggle room when I'm cutting and things like that. This is probably, you probably don't need a piece this big, but this piece is, let me just measure it. It's about 11 by 8. Now again, I think that's very generous, I should say. And then one more piece of lining fabric that you're going to see on the inside. So you can use whatever you want, and that's about the same size, about 11 by 8. A lot of this is sort of, doesn't need to be precise. The most precise is when you're cutting it all out. But you want to make sure everything fits for your template. So, but that's what you're going to need. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do, these were those outside 2 pieces. I really like that pink. That's going to be the side that you're going to see the zipper on. You're going to put your fusible fleece on the back side. So I'm going to follow my manufacturer's instructions, and depending on your brand, you want to do that too. And you're just going to adhere that to the back side of those 2 outside pieces. All right, so here they are. You can see the fusible fleece on the back. Those are those 2 pieces. And then this third piece you're going to put on the back side of that backing. So this is the piece you're going to see on the back of the Easter egg, and you're just going to put. You can see I even didn't cut the fusible fleece big enough. It is okay because it will fit. The most important thing is it's going to fit that template later. So just so you know, it just has to be big enough for that. All right, so here's that nice and centered, and we are ready to go. So the first thing you're going to do, this is one of those lining pieces that was 7 by 8. You're going to lay that down, and then you're going to take your zipper, and you are going to need, I use clips for this. You can pin, but in this case I'm going to use clips. It's just easier. And you want, okay, so the lining you want facing up. Move that up a little bit. The zipper you want facing up, and you're just going to line it up along the top. And I'm going to just be careful. I did not seal these ends, so watch that this the pull doesn't fall off. And then you're going to line that up at the top. And then you're going to take one of these outside pieces. These are the ones that we have the fusible interfacing on. And you're going to put that facing down. So lining up, zipper up, outside is facing down. And then you're just going to pin this all together, lining it up at the top edge. Again, you can pin if you prefer to use pins. For this, I think clips work really well. So let's just get this here. And then what you're going to do, you're going to sew, I just use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just right along that edge, you're just going to sew from one end to the other and get that zipper sewn onto that side. Alright, so here's what it looks like. There's where I sewed it down. Here's the fusible fleece you can see, and it's going to should look like this. There's your zipper on the one side. So now we're going to put on the other edge, or the other side. First up is we need the lining, and this is that blue, the lining. Move this a little bit. Facing up, so you want the right sides facing up. Next thing you're going to do is you want the zipper, again, right sides facing up, and just line it up on that top edge. Again, watch that so it doesn't pull off. You could even do a back stitch there if you wanted to. I didn't do that, but you can if you want. That way it won't, depending on the kind of zipper you're using, that way it won't slip off. And then you want this second panel, the one with the fusible interfacing on it, to lay down right sides down. So these two pieces are facing each other, and then again you're going to clip on the top edge and sew along that edge. Okay, so here it is. I sewed the other piece on. I'm going to give this a nice press, sort of flatten out those seams a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, this is optional, I just like it kind of finishes it a little bit, is I'm just going to top stitch along here and along here about 1/8 of an inch. Very simple to do. So let me do that really quickly. Alright, so there it is. I pressed it nicely, pulled this all back when I was sewing, and then you can see I did that just a little top stitching there just for a little decoration. Now we're going to trace our template. So the first thing I do, again watching that zipper, it probably, if you're not used to working with it, you may want to back stitch right here. Just do a couple of stitches here so it doesn't zip off the edge. I try to be really careful when I'm doing that. So here's your template. You can kind of play with it. I like to put it a little slanted like that. You can do it straight if you want. I just think it's kind of fun. Let me pull back one of these other ones. You get just sort of a little slant. It also makes the opening just a little bit bigger if you're putting, like, you know, a bigger treat in there. Just a little different. So that's how I'm going to do it. But you want to make sure everything is inside when you're tracing. I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to flip it over. And then this is the side we're going to trace on. Let me move that up a little bit. And you can see how I have plenty of room on the sides. Again, I make mine oversized, just that's the way I like to do it. You could even put your zipper here or way up here. I just sort of do it in the middle and I do it slanted. Totally up to you. That's what's so fun about this. And then you're just going to trace, and I'm using a regular pen. You can use a water-soluble marker. Alright, so there's my tracing. So I'm going to set this aside for right now, keeping it zipped up, and now is the final assembly. I'm telling you, this project is so easy. So here's that other piece of lining. And you're going to put this facing down. So you want the right sides facing towards your table. Okay? That's one. Then that backing. This was that second piece of backing, and this is the one we had the fusible fleece on. You're going to have that facing right sides up. So you want to be able to see that cute little strawberry pattern. Okay? Smooth it out. And then lastly, you're going to put this panel on. This is the panel we just did, facing down. So you want the right sides. This pink side is the side we're going to see. And the zipper should be facing down, and it is. Now here's where you want to watch where that zipper placement is. You want to pull that in to inside that traced line because we're going to sew now around this edge. I do check that everything is correct. And then next up, we're just going to pin these layers. I just need 2 pins. Smooth it out. Okay, and again, make sure that zipper pull is inside of that line, of that drawn line, the tracing we did. And now you're just going to sew around the edge. You might want to do it twice. I just do it one time. I will back stitch over the zipper here and here a couple of times just to make it secure. All right, so here it is. I sewed around the tracing I did. Let me just trim these little threads off. You can see that zipper's inside, which is what you want. And now we're just going to trim away all of this excess. So here is this. We are ready to turn it inside out. It's all, again, I double stitched over here, and now we're going to open this up. This is the fun part, because then you get to see what your little egg looks like. I mean, this project is so easy and fun to do. If you have a bunch of like kids to take, maybe you're going to a Easter, egg hunt or something, this would be really cute. Put some little candies in it or some little toys, money. Hey, money's always, people like money too, but you could, a whole lot of little things. So there it is. You want to run your finger along that edge. If you don't want to do that, use a chopstick or something, some tool, or maybe your eraser of a pencil. Don't use anything sharp. So there you go. It's what it looks like. It's got that blue lining, and then I'm going to zip it up. You might want to give it a press. Now, optional, I don't, because again, these are just such quick, easy makes. You could do a top stitch around the edge just to flatten it a little bit. I'm just going to leave it as is. There's the back of it. Isn't that cute? I love that. It has little strawberries on it. There you go. Ready for your treats. Little gift for somebody. Here's some more. I mean, they're just so much fun to make, and they're so easy. So have fun. Make your little Easter pouches. They're so much fun. All right, here are the 3 pouches that we made. Well, I showed you how to make one. We made this one. This is the one we made in the video. I did one for TikTok. That's why I have 3 of them. A lot of times I do more than one because I do one for a blog post, do one for this video, and then I do one for like a reel. I try to hit all the social medias, but here they are, so cute. Each one's a little bit different, and again, perfect for scraps. If you have, look at the pretty yellow lining on that one. I really like that one too. So you can have a little surprise on the inside. Don't forget to head over to Facebook and join my Working Our Scraps Off Facebook group. There are some questions you have to answer. If you don't answer them, I just decline it. I don't have time, unfortunately. I get a lot of people asking to enter. And to help keep out spammers, there are some questions, and then you have to agree to the rules. So it's important to do that. But then you're in the group, and we have lots of fun over there. I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. I try to bring you all kinds of fun projects, tips, tutorials, that kind of thing. Thank you so much for watching. Have fun making your Easter egg pouch, and have a great day.